They lied to you. They told you that love is patient, that real connection is built on staying, that the person who walks away is the one who failed. They were wrong, and that lie cost me years of my life. I stayed when I should have left. I gave when there was nothing left to give. I loved in a way that most people will never be capable of, quietly, completely, without asking for anything in return. And I did it for someone who had learned, slowly and expertly, that I would always be there. That is not love. That is training. And the moment I understood that, the moment I finally saw what was actually happening, I didn't scream. I didn't confront. I didn't send the long message at midnight. I went quiet. And that silence did more damage than any fight ever could have. Stay with me, because what I'm about to walk you through is not a story about heartbreak. It is a psychological autopsy of what happens inside the human mind when the person they underestimated simply stops existing in their world. And if something in you just shifted, if your chest just got tight, you need to keep watching. Because the part that will hollow you out, it hasn't arrived yet. This is Imperial Mindset. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Principle 1. The quiet ones are always keeping score. Here is the first thing you need to understand about people like me. We are not weak. We are not naive. We are not endlessly patient by accident. We are dangerous in a way that most people never recognize until it is far too late. Because while you were going about your life, while you were half present, distracted, assuming we would always be there, we were watching, we were calculating, not out of malice. The human heart counts even when the mind tells it not to. Every time I reached and got half of myself back, every time I said, "I'm fine," and you believed it, because checking twice was inconvenient. Every time I needed something specific and received something general. Every time I showed up completely and you appeared halfway. I noticed. I kept a record I never intended to keep. And here is the psychological mechanism nobody warns you about. The people with the highest capacity for love have the highest threshold for pain. That threshold is not infinite. It is not a gift. It is a countdown. And I never told you when it reached 0. I just closed. Not with anger. Not with a scene. With the quiet, irreversible finality of a door that locks from the inside. By the time you noticed something was different, I had already been gone for months. You were speaking to a version of me that had already made its decision. Principle 2. The dramatic exit is an act of mercy. I gave you none. Most people, when they've had enough, explode. They need you to know. They need you to feel it. They send the message. They make the call. They rehearse the speech and then deliver it at 2 a.m. They want confrontation, acknowledgement, closure. I understand that impulse. I used to have it. I burned it. Because here is what the dramatic exit actually does. And this is what psychology reveals that most people never learn until they've already destroyed their own leverage. The dramatic exit is mercy. When you scream, when you lay out the full inventory of every wrong thing they did, when you give them the speech, you give them a story, a villain, a reason, a place to put the blame. And the moment they have a place to put the blame, you become it. You become the one who lost it, the one who couldn't handle it, the one who made it dramatic. They don't have to sit with what they did. They just have to sit with what you did. And that is comfortable. That is forgettable. That is something the brain can file away and never revisit. So I gave you nothing. No confrontation, no closure, no final words, no explanation. Just absence. And absence, true, complete, unexplained absence, from someone who had chosen you every single day, is a wound the brain cannot close, because it has no story to wrap around the pain. No villain to blame, no moment to point to and say, that's where it ended. Just the slow, suffocating realization that someone who loved you quietly, completely, without applause, decided you were no longer worth the cost. Psychologists call what you experienced emotional ambiguity. I call it the only justice available to people like me. Your brain cannot file it away. It cannot find closure. It keeps returning to the wound, keeps asking why, and because there is no answer, it asks again, at 2 am, in new relationships. In quiet moments, years from now, when something small reminds you of me, and you feel the floor shift beneath you. The dramatic exit gives you anger. The quiet exit gives you a ghost. I became your ghost, and you will carry me for years. Principle 3. The search will destroy you more than the loss did. Here is what happened after I left. And this is the mechanism that turns a quiet exit into a psychological sentence. You went back. You reread every message, every conversation, looking for the moment things changed, the signal you missed, the turning point you walked right past. And you found things. Small things, quiet things, things that seemed insignificant at the time. A message that sat unanswered for 3 days. A hard moment I mentioned once and you never asked about again. A night I went quiet and you didn't notice. A need I communicated directly, clearly, without drama that received nothing back. And as you collected these pieces one by one, like evidence from a crime scene you didn't know was happening, the picture became unbearable. Because it meant you were warned. Not once, not loudly, but consistently, quietly. In every small way that a person who loves deeply tries to communicate without making a scene. And you didn't hear it. And that knowledge that there were 100 moments where it could have gone differently, and in every single one you chose comfort over attention, that is not something that heals cleanly. That is what follows you. Into every relationship after, into every quiet moment between you and someone new when they go slightly distant and your body floods with something you can't explain. Into every argument where you suddenly over-explain, overreach, overcompensate, because somewhere underneath, you know what it costs to lose someone you stopped paying attention to. I didn't just leave. I left a mark. Permanent, invisible, and precisely calibrated to teach you the lesson that nothing else could. Principle 4. What looked like coldness was actually freedom. Now I need to tell you what was happening on my side. Because from the outside, it looked like coldness. From the inside, it felt like finally being able to breathe. The first weeks were not painless. There were songs that became ruins, places I couldn't enter without flinching. Ordinary moments a Tuesday afternoon, something small and funny where my hand moved toward my phone before my mind caught up, and then stopped. In that pause lived the entire weight of the decision. But on the other side of that pause was something I had forgotten was possible. Clarity. Not the soft kind, the bone-deep kind, the kind that only comes when you stop pouring yourself into something that was never going to hold you. Because when the noise stops, when the invisible labor and the one-sided giving and the endless emotional arithmetic finally goes quiet, you hear yourself again. Your own thoughts, your own needs, your own voice, the one that had been so thoroughly drowned out that you had forgotten it existed. And when that voice comes back, it does not whisper. It says, "This is who you are. This is what you are worth. This is what you should have been choosing the entire time." What you called coldness was me reclaiming sovereignty. What you read as indifference was the sound of someone who had finally stopped performing for an audience that wasn't paying attention. You lost access to me. And losing access to someone who chose you every day, without being asked, without needing recognition, is a loss that rewires you, whether you wanted it to or not. Principle 5. Your guilt is an instrument. Discard it. I need to speak now to the ones watching this who are still in it. You know exactly who you are. You are the one who has been giving and giving, with less and less coming back. The one making quiet pleas that land on deaf ears. The one lying awake not because you are dramatic, but because something in you has known for a while that what you are holding is already broken. And you are the only one still trying to fix it. I was you. I know precisely where you are standing right now. Part of you has known for months. You have simply been afraid to act on it. Afraid of the loneliness, the guilt, the stories they will tell about you once you are no longer there to correct them. Afraid that leaving makes you the villain when staying has been erasing you, piece by piece, for longer than you want to count. So let me tell you what no one told me until I had already given too much. The guilt is not yours. The pain your absence causes is the direct consequence of what was not done while you were present. You tried to be heard, you communicated, you gave chances more than was warranted, and they were not taken. You are not responsible for managing someone else's experience of losing what they failed to value. And the stories they will tell? Let them. Some people, when faced with the undeniable evidence of their own neglect, do not reflect. They rewrite. They will call you cold, difficult, too sensitive, too much, not enough. They will rebuild the narrative so that your exit becomes the problem and their behavior becomes invisible. Let them perform it. To whoever will listen, your silence is not cruelty. It is the only language they were ever going to understand. And the boundary you enforce without a word, quietly, completely, without explanation, scars deeper than any speech you could have delivered. It does not beg for understanding. It does not demand apology. It simply ends the game. Principle 6. The exit was not the end. It was the first move. Here is the final thing. The thing that changes people when they hear it. My quiet exit was not a defeat. It was not even a departure. It was the moment, the exact, private, unremarkable moment when I decided that my own life was worth showing up for. No speech, no audience, no grand resolution. Just a decision, made in silence, to stop spending myself on what was never going to honor me. And what came after that decision was not emptiness. It was return. I came back to myself, to the version of me that existed before I started shrinking, before the endless adjusting, before the making myself smaller to fit into a space that was never built for me. I woke up one morning and realized I hadn't thought about you. Not that day. Maybe not the day before. And that absence, the absence of your absence, felt like sunlight after a season I didn't know was winter. I remembered what it felt like to be full. Not full of love for someone else. Full of myself. And I am no longer available to be diminished. I am no longer reachable by the version of you that failed to reach for me when I was right there. I move now by choice, not by reaction. I speak by design, not by habit. I give to what honors the giving. And the door I closed? It does not have a handle on your side. So, let me ask you one final time. Are you the one who left quietly? Or are you the one still living with the echo? If you left, honor it. You did something that required more courage than most people will ever acknowledge. You chose yourself when everything in you wanted to stay. You walked into uncertainty. And in doing so, you wrote the chapter that mattered most. I know, because I wrote mine. And if you are the one left behind, let this be the moment the fog lifts. The people who love quietly, give completely, and show up without being asked, we are not guaranteed to stay. We have a threshold. We have a point where enough becomes enough. And when we reach it, we do not announce it. We simply go quiet. Pay attention to the people in your life before they go quiet. Because the quieter the exit, the deeper the wound. And the deeper the wound, the longer the silence that follows you. This has been Imperial Mindset. If this gave you language for something you have been carrying, send it to someone right now. Not for me, for the person in your life who needs to hear this before it is too late. Subscribe. Drop a comment. Are you the quiet leaver or the one still living with the echo? I read every single one. Stay imperial, stay mindset, and stay quiet about the things that do not deserve your noise.